going to drive by the actual place where we bought it too, which is fun. It's got a great model number too. 240S. It goes to Ballard and back maybe twice from Leschi. Plus it's fun because you kind of drive slower and go slow up hills. Constantly braking so that you can get more juice out of it. This is probably about a 12-mile trip at the most. And we've used a couple of bars, so we could do this 3 or 4 times probably in a day, and then we'd be running out.
What about charging? How long does that take?
6 hours. No problem.
How fast does that go?
40 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. No freeway. So it's just, you know. That's funny.
That was awesome.
That probably happens every time I drive it. The fact that Olmsted designed parks, designed this Seward Park and this whole waterfront thing 100 years ago, I mean, makes all the difference for this neighborhood. So somebody's idea, when there was so much nature around, nobody even knew the value of it. They were just, you know, it was everywhere. So nobody even thought, well, why'd do this? I'm sure there was resistance to it. But the fact that they protected Seward Park and the waterfront in Leschi, and that people still have all this access to the lake, makes this neighborhood, you know, 100 times better than it would be. And it's one of those serendipitous sort of things that somebody did because they had a vision of understanding what was important in a city a long time ago. And I think that we need to make those kinds of decisions. It has a lot of natural beauty left. It has a lot of natural beauty that could be restored in terms of our forest land, in terms of our national parks, but also just in our green belts and our cities and open spaces. You get out in the Burkemmer's Trail and ride your bike for 20 miles or run. I run to Ballard sometimes from my house just because it's fun, you know. We've taken that into our calculation, is people driving to and from the show. Ultimately, I think music is important, and people getting to where the music is and people being able to play music, and particularly for bands that have lots of fans, I think there is going to be some environmental costs, and that's just going to be part of it. There's not going to be a perfect solution to that. So first and foremost, I want to play music, and if I can do a little something to kind of help mitigate what we've done, I think it's worth exploring. Ian Mackay, I mean, for sure, in terms of impacting our band, in terms of like looking at what sort of Minor Threat did and kind of how he approached his business. And
what did Minor Threat do?
Well, they just had strong ideals that they stuck with in terms of their business model, and they were an inspiration. I think in terms of how an individual or a band can have an impact on the psychology of what's going on, I think a band like Minor Threat had an enormous impact on just by being who they were. If you didn't come to party, don't bother knocking on my door.